G'day and hello beautiful people, it is Mimo here. Hope you're having a fantastic day, afternoon, evening, night, no matter the time wherever you are. Hope life is treating you well. Let's jump straight into this. This is all about Pick Your Path, which is the current roadmap and museum collection that we've got going on at the moment. Now straight off the bat, this will cost you money to complete the roadmaps and the overall museum collection to get either a 5-star ascendable Maggie or a 5-star ascendable John. Now I highly recommend you going into the museum and checking those two characters out. There is a huge difference in quality. There is no other option in Pick Your Path than to go with Maggie, and that is what it's asking you to pick a side, the Hilltop with Maggie or the Saviors with John. When you look at those two characters, if you're having to spend money, there's no other option than to go with the Hilltop and Maggie. She's just a better quality character and a much better legendary than what John is. John is complete doo-doo and well below average in regards to the quality of him in the legendary range. It's just not worth spending money in my opinion. Now that is a tough stance. I usually don't say these, I don't really take that sort of stance with things, but just don't do it. There's no other option but to go for Maggie, regardless of how you feel about, the Hilltops, the Saviors. Just go with the quality player. Do yourself a favor. Now when you complete the Act 2, you get your test tubes and your chemical flask. Now the chemical flask is what you use to open the next part. Whether you go for Maggie or John, you honestly should only be going for Maggie, like I said, and your test tubes are essentially the energy you use to complete every stage or to even get into that stage. Now the first sort of Pick Your Path roadmap, it's all people, S2 plus rating, it's all pretty straightforward and pretty easy to complete. And then you move on to part 1. Now part 1 is all zombies, S7 rating, and you'll get your goggles which will open part number 2. Now this is sort of all a linear sort of factor. You have to complete every part before you can go to the next one side and things like that. So it's sort of like a prerequisition to the next stage and so forth. Now in regards to part number 1, the important decision is whether you want to be direct and take the difficult route with the zombies across the bridge, or whether you're going to sort of cowardly away and take the safe route of going around the bridge and working your way back into it. Now, I chose during the story to take the direct route, but no matter what you choose or your decisions within the story, it still gives you both options. It's not like concrete in the story where if you choose that, then you only have that option available to you in the roadmap. You still have both options, so you can essentially change your mind. Fortunately for me, when I was doing it, I chose the right options. In regards to this second part here, you have an S6 plus rating with nightmare mode on. So this is the direct but difficult route. But as you can see, you're getting the better rewards. These are essentially legendary gear. It's legendary gear. You get your tattered jacket, which is the item to open the next stage. You get gold mods, military watch. And then you look at the rewards for the S7, which is the safe route or the easy way out up the top there. And the rewards are just not at the same quality as in Maggie Part 2 down here, the difficult but direct. Now, this stage is all zombies, so really the rating of the team doesn't matter. It's all about crit. And I was using an S2 rated zombie team throughout these stories, so it doesn't really matter about the rating in that regard. So definitely go the nightmare mode, go the one with the better rewards. There's just no reason not to unless you lack crit. And in that regards, then maybe go the other way. But for me, it was all about nightmare. Now, stage number 2 of part 2 is where you run out of your test tubes, which you use to open, it's the energy to go into the stages. You have 2 options. You can get a concrete option here of the test tubes. I highly recommend buying this. $12.99 and 2,400 test tubes are enough to get you through to getting that key at the last part. It even leaves you 200 spare, which gives you one more try if you do stuff up any times. The other way, when you spend your coins, you spend 170 so coins each time. You're getting guaranteed 30 test tubes, but then it's like a 1% chance you might get 1,000. So you could go through thousands and thousands of coins trying to get enough. Whereas when you pay, $12.99 directly Australian dollars, you're getting 2,400, which is more than enough test tubes to get you through all these roadmaps, as long as you don't stuff up essentially and get beaten more than twice. So you have one rego, but that's it. For me, it was pretty straightforward. I was going for the concrete guarantee of the flask. I was getting what I paid for in the flask. I don't like RNG in this game, so anything where it can give you what you're paying for and a 100% guarantee this is what you're getting, I always go for that. And I can tell you right here, right now, 2,400 is enough. It was enough for me. I paid $12.99 for an ascendable Maggie, who is a great legendary character, so I'm really happy about that. And you complete the rewards there. Like I said, nightmare mode, it's the way to go. That in difficult but direct, or direct but difficult, whichever way you want to say it, there's really should be the route you're taking just for the better rewards, especially if it's zombies, guys. It's honestly zombies. Now the next stage, part 3, you don't really have an option of anything. It's an S7 rating. It is all zombies once again, so hamper up on that crit. I do want to say for the part 2 and the part 3, definitely a range team is preferred. I used a range team just because there are obstacles, so it's less time consuming when your team can shoot over the obstacles rather than your melee team trying to hit through them, which really doesn't work. So I definitely recommend the range team. Now this stage is all about weapons. As you can see, you get a bunch of 4-star weapons, parts and so forth, even as the individual stage rewards. And then you get your scales, which is used for the next part, which gave you 2 options. You saw that I chose the sniper originally, but like I said, both options available in the roadmap, regardless of what the option you choose in the story is. Now Maggie's AR is the sniper rifle decision, and then Maggie's rifle is the Lee Enfield decision. I went with a sniper rifle because I have no idea what a Lee Enfield is, and so I went with what I actually knew in the sniper rifle. Now this stage is the final stage. Like I say, you can see there you got more than enough test tubes to complete this stage. You got more than enough energy there available. I stuck essentially with the sniper one because it was the better choice. It had the better weapons. I was lucky that when I was making the crush decisions, I was making the right ones in the end, and I was able just to stick with what I said in the story. But you can change your mind if you went either other way. Just go with where the rewards are. And honestly, I didn't struggle at all in regards to difficult. Like, I didn't struggle even in the last 2 stages, because this last stage here, you get 1 stage which is zombies, the first one, and then the rest of the 4 were people in this sniper rifle version here. And it's an S8 plus rating. I was using an S7 team and I didn't need items, so it's not overly difficulty or an overly huge difficult sort of level. As long as you have a well-established roster, you'll be fine. My roster is not spectacular, you know, it's pretty average, and I was able to get through it. But you definitely want to be going with Maggie's AR just to get that double attack, which is the better mod compared to the Enfield, which has a plus 30% when, you know, the HP is less than 70 or so forth. It's a pretty cheap mod, so definitely go for the double attack. That's one of the ones that you have to get like a trait-specific thing, so it's a bit harder to get. Now overall, like I said, there should be no other route and no other decision other than going with Maggie. You can't replay through any of these stages, unfortunately, because you only get the 1 consumable item per stage, so you can only have options. The options are concrete, you have to go with one. But let me know how you went with it and what your thoughts were. As always, I thank you for watching, and always remember how awesome you are. Bye!
Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadow.